All right. So before we get started, Shane, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Thanks
How
for
are
having
you?
me, Amanda. Good, good. Yeah, thanks for having me. Perfect. I wanted to be recorded, so that's perfect timing. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to give an update. I've been getting a lot of kind of rebound pre-approvals where buyers are putting in offers on homes, and the listing agent is saying, "No, I had bad experiences with that big bank last year," or "No, I had bad experiences with online lenders, and I don't know that company and I don't trust it." So they're saying, "Get a pre-approval from someone local." And the buyers aren't really understanding this, and they're getting a little frustrated. But like I have realtors who have had so many deals last year blow up with, like Wells Fargo, that they've said, I'm not accepting pre-approvals from them. And last year was just a tough year for the mortgage industry, sticking up for these guys. We were bombarded with refinance applications, and the purchase market just exploded. But listing agents remember that, and they don't forget. When that happens, they'll say, "Hey, I want you pre-approved by somebody else." This is very common. It's very common. And when you have 5, 6 offers, the listing agent and the seller have the control. And then the buyer might call me and say, "Well, I don't want you to run credit because I'm just going to you because the listing agent told me to get someone local and they recommended you." And I say, "Well, I don't give a pre-approval without running credit and getting pay stubs and W-2s." So that's kind of something that we're seeing a lot of right now. But just remember that when we run a pre-approval, like, we're not just throwing out, pre-approvals. We're doing the research and running the credit and getting the pay stubs. And that's something that you can hold value with, to know that, hey, if you got a pre-approval from Atlantic, it's been vetted, and we're going to do our research and make sure that the income is there and that the assets are there.
Wonderful. Very good to
Yeah.
know.
All right.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. No problem. No problem, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you soon.
All right.
All right. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna jump back in, and then we'll certainly dive a little bit closer with the QR codes, and I'll show you what all that looks like when we get to it. So the first part of the course is really going to be focusing on creating a landing page um, under the consumer applet in your dashboard, which is the final applet. This is where you are able to maintain your agent website as well as create standalone landing pages. So when you click on the create a new page button on that top right corner, it does give you two options: to create an agent site page, which is also known as a sub page, or to create a landing page, which is purely for lead generation. Now, if I were to go to my website and I click on the navigation bar, all of these links are the sub pages. So sub pages, you want them to be content that's evergreen, something that's always going to be relevant, nothing timely. So for example, listings that you have or open houses, these things come and go. They're not going to be available forever. So it's not something that you want to have living on the website forever. But things like a mortgage calculator, finding your home value, information about you or Keller Williams, that's evergreen content. That's never going to change. So information like that is appropriate for a subpage on the agent website, whereas promoting an open house or a specific listing, piece of property, that's more suitable for a landing page, since that is only going to be relevant for a little bit of time. Now, if we go to my landing pages here, I'll just show you an example of one that I've made in the past, and then I'll show you how easy it is to build this. So this was made a little while ago, but the really nice thing is that this took me, just come back in. This took me less than 5 minutes to make. That's the beauty of the landing pages, is that you can add in all of these different widgets, and it just loads all the information for you. So let's go ahead and make one. So we're going to click on the create a new page button, and we're going to select as a landing page. And then we simply click on create page. Now, the first thing I recommend doing is renaming your page right off the bat. That's going to be in the top left corner. So this is going to be an open house flyer for a listing that I found. So this is totally an example, but I'm just going to build it up anyway. So what I have now is just a blank page in front of me. And I can build this page in a number of different ways. I can pull these different widgets in any order that I want to include any and all of this information. And I can also pull in image and text blocks as well. So if you simply just wanted to put in a still image or any type of content, you can do that. Now I'll show you how I made the other page that we just looked at. This is my personal favorite way. This is purely me. You can design your pages any which way you want. I always like to start with the branded header. So all I do is drag and drop that branded header over. And now we see we have my headshot, my name, number, and email. And this is all taken from that marketing profile that we looked at before we got started. Next, what I'm going to do is add in the information for the listing. So I'm going to put in the listing widget. Obviously, this is not the piece of property we're promoting, and I'll show you exactly how to tweak that in just a moment. And now, since I know that I'm going to be using this for an open house, I'd like to include a lead form. So with the lead form, I'm going to actually come in and drag this in between the two. And I'll show you why I'm going to drag the lead form in between the header and the actual listing. The purpose of this landing page that I'm creating is to take the place of an open house sign-in sheet. So that's why I want my lead form to be on top. I want someone to be scanning this, putting in their information, hitting submit, and then being able to come into my house and capturing their information. If you were purely creating this page to promote the listing and promote a just listed or something that just hit the market, maybe the lead form could be on the bottom of the listing. Again, whatever speaks to you. You can play around with the different designs. As you can see, you can drag them and drop them and rearrange them. So, you know, whatever design is going to work best for you. Please go with your gut. So now that I've created the order in which I want my page to look, now it's time to actually edit the content and make it say what I want to say, make it look how I want to look. And in order to do this, all we need to do is simply click on the Configure Widgets button. Now, as we see, it's going to bring me up to the lead form here, which is number 2 of 3, because that lead form is the second of 3 widgets that I have on my page. So instead of interested, let's talk, I'm actually going to change this to read register for today's open house at, what's the address, 246 East Pierpont Ave. And I'm going to click on save and apply. Now I can always go back and change this if I want, decide that it's not perfect, but for now I'm just going to leave it. But we can see right away that change happened. So if someone were to be looking at this page, this is going to be the first thing that they notice. So now that I've saved and applied, we're going to go back to our widget section, and I'm going to go towards the 3 of 3. And as you can see, I don't have a listing selected. All I need to do is click on Browse Listings, and then I can type in the property address. Here we go. So I just selected a listing in Rutherford with one of our agents. So I am going to, I'll take this one from the NJMLS. All I did was select listing, and now this information populated on my right-hand side. So I do have the ability to change this cover image here. So maybe I want this nice exterior shot. I click on save and apply. And there we go. All of this information is taken and it lays it out beautifully. So we have our shot, and if I wanted to change it to be another room, a backyard, whatever the case may be, simple click and save. But it pulls in and beautifully displays the property address, the price, the status, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the description straight from the MLS, a whole slideshow so viewers can see all of the different, all of the different images that are available, as well as all of the details and features, and a map as well. So it really pulls in all this information. All we had to do was type in the address, and it's going to pull all of that for us. So now that I have saved that, I can go back, and if I click on that back arrow, it's now going to show me all of the different widgets if I needed to go back and make any corrections. So for example, if I wanted to change this header, I simply click on the lead form. Now I do want to point out that you can add an additional header in the branded header. So if I click on branded header, I can enter in a header text. Notice that this is blank by default, which is fine. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. Apologize, my typing not on par. And of course, all of this information is correct because it's coming from my marketing profile. So I'm just going to click save and apply. And there we go. So now at the top of the page, it reads open house registration form. Super simple, super easy. And then once they scroll down just a little bit, or even on that same little bit of a screen, they'll be able to see the instructions to register for today's open house. Now, I've already renamed the page. I've checked over all of my widgets to make sure all the information is accurate. So what I'm going to do now is publish the page. Yes, I'm going to publish it. So now I'll go back under my landing pages tab, and I do see my 246 East Pierpont Ave open house page here. And we do have a, kind of funky looking URL. All your landing pages are going to start with pages.kw.com/yourname/ and then a specific sequence of numbers. That sequence of numbers, so for example, you see here mine is 738624. That's just for my profile. So up until this number here, the URL will always stay the same. But we do have the ability to shorten the URL and customize this back end, because chances are it's not really going to, make a difference. But if you're like me and you tend to get a little OCD with how things look, I'd rather have my URL read the name of the street than all of these different numbers and letters. So I'm going to click on the three dots here, and I'm going to actually select change URL. This will then allow me to change anything up to the back numbers there. So what I'm going to do is just change this to 246 East Pierpont and click on create. So now my URL looks a little bit neater. It's still pretty long, but it's a-okay. But at least now it doesn't have that mixture of numbers and letters that kind of just looks a little bit messy. Additionally, at any point in time, you can click on those three dots to remove that custom URL, change it, although I only recommend changing it before you share it, because after you share it, you don't want to change it. It can mess up who can click it. You can also click on the edit button to edit any of the information on the page or deactivate the URL. So let's say this is for an open house, the weekend passes, you have 18 offers, you're in attorney review, you don't want this page to be live anymore, you can always deactivate it. So now what I'm going to do is click on that link and see how my page looks. So now this is a live view. So this is really great. I can see exactly what it looks like. I've got all of my registration information here and all of the information for the house here, and it looks beautiful. So now I'm ready. I have my form. This form is what I'm going to use at my open house when I'm, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Collecting, there we go, when I'm collecting the contact information of everyone who's going to be in attendance. So I'd like to make a QR code for this page and then add that QR code onto an open house flyer. Sounds very hard, but I promise it's super easy. So long as you are using Google Chrome, and please remember that I only know this is true for Google Chrome. I don't know if this will work on any other browser. But if you are working with Google Chrome, you can create a QR code directly from the web page. All you have to do is either click into the URL bar and you see this little square pop up. Or when I'm on the page, I can right click anywhere. That same square pops up here and it says create a QR code for this page. So either way, I click on create a QR code and here we go. This code is created for me. It is right here and ready to use. Yes, that is a little dinosaur. Yes, that will always be there. Yes, I do like it. I think it's kind of cute. The dino is the Google Chrome mascot, so that's why we've got that little dino in the middle. Not the end of the world. I'm sure if you were to pay to have a QR code created, it would be without any cute little dinos, but not the end of the world for being able to create a QR code at the snap of our fingers. Let me just check the chat box. No problem, Scott. It'll be on YouTube.
Thanks.
You got it. So now that I've created my QR code, what I'm going to do is download it. So now I have the QR code. It's saved as a PNG file, and I can then use that on different marketing materials. I can post it online. I can do whatever I need to do with it. So the example that I'm going to show you guys is creating a flyer that you could potentially put in on the front door of an open house or on a stand, you know, by the walkway, whatever the case may be. And this is just one idea. You can take my idea and run with it. Create your own ideas, create your own plan, let your imagination run wild. But I'm going to show you an idea that we had that we think is pretty cool. What I'm going to do is go back into my command dashboard. And now I'm going to go into the Designs applet. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Designs applet is probably my favorite area because this is where we can design email templates, post for social media, open house flyers, listing presentations, email signatures. You think it, we can create it here. So I'm going to create a new printed material. So I'm going to click on that plus button on the bottom right corner, click on print, and then click on next. This is going to load into the WeBrand platform. And from here, I'm able to select the type of content I want to be working with. So for our example, I'm going to head over to listings, and then I'm going to click on open house. Now this is going to give me a ton of different shapes, designs, different things like that. And what you can do is narrow down everything that's been loaded. And as you can see, there is a lot based on size. That's definitely the best way to go about it. This example, I want a flyer. I want a typical 8.5 by 11 that I can tape to a door. So I'm going to click on that size, and now it's going to narrow down. So now I have a lot of options to choose from. I am going to choose, which one do I like? I'll choose this one here. We'll just let it load. So what I'm going to do now is create this flyer as if I were preparing to put it on the front door and give people instructions on what to do with this QR code. So the first thing that I'm going to do is make the page look like it's promoting my listing. Within the designs, we can go to the KWLS section, and then we can actually search for a listing. So let me come in here and let me just see if I can get an MLS number. That might save me a moment or two. There we go. So I'm going to select my property here. Now the beauty of this KWLS connection is that I can now view all of the details about this listing and bring that information into my design easily. This is going to be applicable for any printed materials or social materials that you are doing. So in order to swap out any imagery, all I need to do is click on the image and then select the image I'd like to replace it with by hovering over those two arrows in a circle. That's it. Voila. Now, what you can do also is maybe add a picture here of an interior shot of the backyard, whatever it is you'd like to do. And then what I'm going to do is, actually, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to delete one of these pictures. And this is an example of just what you can do to tweak this and make this your own. And instead of having a second picture of the house, I'm going to make this image my QR code. So what I'm going to do is go back to the images section, and I'm going to go to add. Now in this case, I do have this image in my downloaded section here. So I just simply need to click it and drag it. If you don't have this image saved here, you can just click on this section and it'll bring you to your computer so you can pick from anything that's saved on your computer. But now what I've done is I've uploaded this QR code into my WeBrand. And I'm going to put it in place of this picture. So I click on the picture, come back over, click on those arrows in a circle, and boom. Now, you have to pay attention. We can see that this is cutting off a little bit of those corners. If I double click on it, I can see exactly where this needs to be. And I can try to figure out how to make it bigger. There we go. So I just needed to drag that little bit down. Did you all see how I did that? I kind of, instead of using that button there, I did this to make it go up and down. Perfect. So now I have my QR code, and I can make it a little bit smaller because I know this is going to be printed. Now, since this is going to be on the front door of a house, and a lot of people at this point in time probably know the features, I can leave this section here to provide instructions. I open up my little typewriter button, and here's where I can say how to sign up for the open house. One, open your camera on your smartphone and point it at the QR code on the left. Two, scan QR code with your camera and go to the web page. Three, enter in your contact information. You will be registered for our open house. Again, this is just off the cuff. You can make it sound a little bit nicer, a little bit smoother, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to change these instructions. And again, just going to tweak this. Maybe I'm going to make the font a little bit smaller so it all fits. There we go. So now I have a page that's promoting my open house. So here we go. Open house, Sunday, March 29th. We'll pretend that that's coming up, even though we're already well into June. Here's the address. So again, what I can do, if I wanted to, was go back to that KWLS section. And in addition to seeing all of the photos, I can actually see the listing details as well. So here is that address. I can again use those arrows in a circle to replace and have the correct address populate here. Now I can, of course, go in if I'd like and change the address, make any tweaks, whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then, of course, I could be, doing the same thing where I can view all of the information here. Click on that typewriter. It is 3 baths, but it's, 3 beds, 4 baths. I don't know what the square foot is. It's all right. We'll delete that. Listed at, I think this is like 899 or something. There we go. So now all that information is correct. And again, down here, very easy to just enter in your own information. Once you click on this headshot, you can go to images. So long as your marketing profile is updated, your headshot will be here. So you just click on replace. Same thing with this DBA logo. When I click on it, my logos automatically pop up. So I can go ahead and click on replace. There we go. So now I am ready. This looks perfect. I have triple checked it. I have made all of the changes that I want to change. I'm going to rename it. So this is going to be 246 East Pierpont Ave Open House Flyer. Saving. And now I can download it. I can download a PDF, a JPEG, a PNG, whatever it is that you need. I will leave this as a PDF. I'm going to click on download. It's preparing my file, so I'll open that up as soon as it is ready, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. But now what I would do is I would print this. I'll show you guys on the PDF. So here is the actual PDF that we've created. So this is my flyer. So I've got my QR code nice and big. My instructions are here, information about the home, my contact information would be here. And this way, when someone walks up to the front door of my open house, they know what to do to scan that QR code, punch in their information, which is then automatically captured in the command dashboard. They're free to come in the house, makes life easier on you. Everyone stays a little bit healthier. I call that a win-win. So that is, in a nutshell, how to create landing pages in Command and create those QR codes to promote things like open houses, just listed homes, etc. Do you have any questions before we say goodbye? Well, just in case you guys think of one, I will show you one more thing before we go. Another Chris Gareffa move. I do want to point out our Bergen County Partners YouTube channel. This is a phenomenal resource for everyone. I highly recommend subscribing and following along. Chris does a great job at keeping this up to date and creating a lot of great playlists and adding appropriate videos. So what we've recently been doing is making different categories for playlists based on topics and other areas of interest. And there's, of course, a number of different videos that you can look at as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat box for everyone to go and subscribe to. And this video will eventually be up on there as well. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, my name is Amanda. I'm in the Rutherford office with Keller Williams Park Views. My email is kwpvdot@gmail.com. So I'm happy to help you with any questions, and I wish you all the best of luck.